Hello everybody, welcome back to From Rhythm to Algorithm. We're back in the park. It is another windy one. My camera just blew over, so hopefully we get this episode out. We need to get the science done. So, picking back up, right? We've already said the answer, right? It's just some form of these words that we've been iterating this entire series. What is sensorality? It's censorship. But our operative word is filtrality, or filtration, right? Filtration, filtrationality, filtrality. Sensorality filters, sensorality is filtrality. So again, we just continue to iterate these different words, and some of these we're going to put an ality on something, we're going to expand one of these words, and we're going to see another word right there, and then the prefixes and suffixes are going to go away, and we're going to have our theorem. We're not there yet, moving along. But, all right, what is trality? You know, filtrality, trality, I've showed you ad nauseum. You expand these words and other things start to look like prefixes and suffixes. So not going to point that out all that much, but from last episode we had filtration, flirtation, which they are almost direct iterations of one another. Flirtation has one extra T. Besides that, they have the exact same letters. So we're converging this proof to have a direct iteration where it's this, you know, the S and the C iterate. Sensorality seems to be the S and the C. But again, is that unique to just S and C? No. Can you have how many different geometric identities can we discover? I don't know. That's why it's a new math subject. It's the only math subject. This is the first complete proof you've ever seen before. But sensation filtrates, right? Your senses are filters. How is vibration filtered, right? Mass vibrates and it produces a frequency. That frequency is transmitted through a medium, which is really, right, there is no medium. It's just there, right? The momentum, everything bumping into each other, that creates temperature. And so you have some sort of momentum, the thing in there, the sun is not producing light, it's producing radiation. And so how is vibration filtered? Just based on its frequency, which frequency it produces. Sensorality is filtrationality. A note on handwriting, if you write the letter R and the letter V, it's very similar. Again, enough to a point where it's like this symbol, when I'm creating this symbol, the motion is effectively the same. So again, we can have geometrical linguistics extend to handwriting. What letters, you know, what kind of identities or properties can we generate on handwriting? Totally open question. Dichotomy is mutuality. Sensorality is mutuality, right? And remember, mutual exclusivity does not exist. Every system is interacting with everything else. When I move right here, the net effect of motion on Andromeda B, the galaxy over there, is still net zero. It's obviously irrelevant to anything of their motion or their consideration. They're not going to feel it, but it is non-zero. And so there is no closed systems. There is no mutual exclusivity. Mutuality is residuality. And you might say, Brad, how is mutual residual? But again, that's where you just put an ality on there, residuality. And then you have duality is the base of residual. And so mutual to both to residual, not clear, but if you expand it out, residuality, R-E-S-I becomes a prefix, duality, right? Duality is mutual. Please, I really hope my camera doesn't blow over. We will see. We are out here for science. Duality is dichotomonistic, right? What is cotomonisticality? Taking off that di prefix. Coto, moto. Sensorality with a C is motorality, right? What is a motor? What does a motor do? Like when I motorboat your girlfriend, what am I doing, right? A motor generates power. But an engine is a motor. Filtrationality, trace, right? Filtration, trace is within the word filtration. And so again, that suffix is just changed. But to track is to trace. And now in mathematics, if you look at the diagonal, the trace of a set, the trace of a matrix, we're connecting into that logic as well. But tracing is outlining, right? If you trace something in preschool, you're outlining it. A trace is an outline. What is an outline? Right? It's a perimeter, it's a boundary. Outline versus over the line relationship, right? Now we have right? Words converge, and then we just kind of like stuff things together, horseshoes and hand grenades, right? Outline, over the line. Again, we have another reference to a simple geometric object, right? So if you outline something, you're tracing it. If you're over the line, you're crossing a boundary. Traceality, sality. Remember, we condense sensorality all the way down to the base sality, one letter, a consonant, S, and ality, our generalizing prefix. In the same way, reality is a form of solution, right? It's a prefix and a suffix, nothing in between. And so traceality, when I'm showing you all this iteration with C and this S amongst a bunch of different languages, now we can see it right here, right? Sality, traceality, but the S goes to a C. Trace, T-R-A-C-E, generalize, traceality. But you kind of get a weird, it'll be on the screen if you're just listening, but you get kind of this weird, it looks like that would be a trecality, right? But again, how else would you generalize trace? Tracing, traceality. And so it preserves that soft kind of S sound for the C and not a K sound. Why that's super relevant, I don't know, but it just is. I don't pick the answers. An imbalance is disproportional. Sensorality limits disproportionality. A spore is a seed. Sensorality inseminates. Sensorality is seminality, right? Inceptionality, you're commencing, you're first, you're seminal. Seminal fluid, semen. Can make a lot of jokes, and I probably will, but moving on, I guess. I don't know. I didn't have any good jokes written down, so. But insemination incubates. Incubate, and again, this is another word that I don't understand. I've seen it used. It's masturbate. Again, I don't know, that word has never applied to me in my own personal life. And so I also see the kids these days talk about this thing called gooning. But so, like, I'm so Sigma, and I'm literally from Ohio, so I have so much Riz that Livy Dunn goons to me. So these words just don't apply to me, but allegedly they're out there. Hopefully my camera doesn't blow over. We're crossing our fingers. Uh-oh, if we start to rock, you'll see me lunge at the camera. But insemination incubates. Seminality is inception. Seminality starts. Sensorality started. Again, life started. And again, what we're doing is we're renormalizing. Every time I state something, at this point I've proven them to be theorems, but then I'm just renormalizing it. If it's a dichotomistic pair, I'm showing you where that preserved pronunciation is coming from or what word it relates to. In the same way you need a reference frame, another word is a reference frame in that sense. And so tart is sour. What's the difference between sour and savory? Towering is intimidating. Tower, power. Power is intimidating. Intimidation is not timid. Is not timid. Now we have, again, a natural negative definition, right? Intimidation, if you're intimidating, you're not timid, but it's built on timid very obviously. And so, what this facet of differentiation, how do we go from, if it rhymes, it's wrong. So why does it differentiate? How does it differentiate? How much formalism can we put on this function? Timidity, humidity, right? Sensorality is timidity. So now there again, like we were saying, breaking this ality to idity, right? Timidity, I could have written timidality, but I didn't do it naturally. So again, this limiting, going from one prefix to another, I'm not sure why or when, but it's clear that it's happening. Somebody at Harvard can think more about it. Humidity is mid. It's kind of a fun slang one. I just have type shit #Sigma. Because literally, again, humidity is like, the base word is mid. And logically that makes sense, right? You don't like a place that's very humid. It's mid. Humid. Humanity is stupidity. Good luck proving that one wrong. So I had some more lovely YouTube comments. I saw some guy, and again, I just screenshot him, send him off to science team. I say find and eliminate. Again, explicitly what I mean there is find this person and do not allow them into scientific discourse or anything with discipline. Again, you don't go into your boss's office, shit everywhere, and then wonder why you don't have a job. That doesn't occur. So that's all those emails mean, but that is what it means, is get this person the fuck out of anything that I'm involved in, which is everything, and this behavior is not acceptable. But he just comments on there onto my short video, and it's just called Natural Opposites. And because remember, I have a long form, this is a part 190, right? So I'm just trying to get somebody's like attention for 5 seconds. I can't naturally grow on YouTube because I'm watched and censored by everything. And so, but somebody comments, you know, provide some value. Don't just, he literally said, don't beg for somebody to go watch another video. Trust me, brother, I'm not begging you. If you do not want to watch one of my videos, you will not learn anything besides me through somebody else fucking stupider. Like, there's nobody out there teaching their own discoveries. Your math teachers and professors, they're teaching stuff from like the 1850s. The only way to get this information is from me. So if I have to beg, you're just a retard and I don't give a shit. But reality is nobody in history has proven what a natural opposite is. Nobody has demonstrated these facets of language. Right? You use them intuitively, but nobody has proven them mathematically rigorously. And I've done it entirely, the complete whole fucking process. And so it's just like I said, there's a massive mathematical result and people don't even process it as mathematics, as something important. Demonstrating the consistency of language makes deriving the basis of mathematics trivial. The basis of mathematics is thematic. And so we've already proven that. Again, like, those are massive results done, what, 2, 3, 4 months ago? And it's not the big result. None of these videos are the big result. This is all the process getting to the result, which hasn't happened. But I know Science Club has the connecting theorem already. But I'm out here still doing my derivations because I don't even fucking know why. I have nothing else to do throughout my day. But that's true. Humanity is stupidity. Good luck proving that wrong. And so, finishing up for today, sensorality with a C is traceality. Again, getting back to, I'm not sure, we're pairing something up to solve that we can solve definitively. I'm not going to tell you that again, you know what we're doing. Right, but it preserves that traceality. That's that soft sound with a C. For some reason that's important. Because in sensorality, right, both the C or the S's are that soft kind of sound. So I'm intuitively aligning up, getting a common denominator, you know, getting it into the solvable form of the solution, something to that effect. But what is sality? And then now we have that fundamental dichotomistic pair, same exact sound, 2 different spellings, one with an S and one with a C. And so salitality is sensorality. So we've got to be getting close. Again, last time we had sensorality with an S, and it'll be on the screen, but those 2 chunks were sensorality with a C. Sensorality with an S is viscerality. Sensorality with a C is salitality. So again, we're closing this proof. We have our bounds. Again, I can't say the exact linguistical bounds. Like, again, it ends in Y is the generality. What letter does it have to begin with? I don't think it matters. But again, it's bounded on both sides, and we're just condensing, converging. But we have sensorality with an S is sality. Sality with an S is viscerality. Salitality is sensorality with a C. And again, it doesn't really matter. We're just there are differences that exist, but linguistically, we're trying to close this proof. So thank you for watching. That is what I have for you today. And as always, I don't even say anything as always, so go fuck yourself. See you on the next one.